Now, this is beyond embarrassing. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Russian media destroying the United States, destroying the U.S. media, destroying U.S. politicians over the Brittney Griner and Victor Bout swap. Now, I've done videos on this, of course. You guys know what's going on. Brittney Griner, WNBA basketball player, was locked up in Russia for trying to bring weed and vape cartridges and hash oil to the airport. She gets arrested. She's been locked up for about 10 months. She was going to get 9-10 years in the penitentiary in the Russian penal colony, having to go out there and work, probably in Siberia somewhere. But of course, U.S. politicians step in and say, hey, we want to get her back. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to trade a high-level Russian arms dealer, a terrorist by the name of Victor Bout, who was serving a 25-year sentence, and he only done 10 years of that so far. They're talking about, oh, he's going to come out in 8 years, whatever. I digress. The whole point is that they were going to trade him for a locked up Marine by the name of Paul Whelan, who had been accused of spying, and Brittney Griner. But they were only able to get Brittney Griner and not the Marine. So we left him behind and got Victor Bout. This is very embarrassing. And before I go any further into it, let's watch a clip from Russian media. Of course, it will be in Russian, so you got to read the subtitles on there. And if you want to see this in full without my commentary, the link, as always, will be in the description box below.
Конечно, меня очень позабавило, хотя не удивило, то, что обменяли Бута все-таки на Грайнер, а не на Уилна. Я, во-первых, поздравляю Бута, поздравляю всю его семью. Мы много лет были на связи с его семьей, насколько было это возможно с ним самим. Как-то, насколько это было возможно, общались. Это, конечно, огромная радость, облегчение для всех нас. Но для всех нас, ладно, что это для семьи?
So basically, so far, if you're not watching the video, she's talking about, she's not surprised that this trade happened, that they only got Brittney Griner for Victor Bout, but she had been in contact with his family and I think with him, and she congratulates him on his return because, again, this is a Russian citizen. Regardless of what he did, that's their guy. So they congratulate him on his return.
Даже не могу себе представить. Но то, что его обменяли не на героя.
Now, the laughter, it's like they're laughing, okay? They're saying he was in exchange for the heroic spy because, again, Paul Whelan was accused of being a spy, and he's a U.S. Marine or former Marine. People are going to say, oh, well, he wasn't a good guy, ABO. He was discharged. That's not even really important. The point is that he did serve our country, regardless of how he was discharged or what happened at the end of his term is totally irrelevant. He was in the military, and he was accused of being a spy, and he's been locked up for the past 4 years in Russia. We left him behind, although that was the initial plan to get him out alongside the WNBA basketball player Brittney Griner.
Разведчика.
Не, пиар нужен.
Ведь он же разведчик. Уилан, да? Он разведчик. Его приняли, что называется, при передаче информации на флешке. Он там рассказывал, что это он на флешке хотел, вот ему должны были фотографии церквей Сергиева Посада передать на флешке. Фотографии церквей по WhatsApp друг другу передают. Правда же, как мы берем? Смотри, где я был. Для этого флешку не приносят. Вполне себе нормально.
So basically they were saying that he was a spy and he was caught receiving information on the flash drive, taking pictures of churches and stuff like that, when really, if you just want to be a tourist, you wouldn't be getting that type of stuff on the flash drive. You take pictures on your phone, maybe your camera, and then that'd be it.
Нормального качества, не хуже, чем на флешке.
I'm not saying they're right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what they're saying.
Он разведчик. Ну, для нас он шпион, для них он разведчик, то есть герой. Он морпех. Он увешан орденами. У него одна проблема, две. Проблема первая, три. Проблема первая, он белый. Вторая, мужчина. Третий, он, судя по всему, все-таки гетеро.
Now, this is something that everybody knows, and the whole world knows it, and they're laughing at it. Basically, they're saying, yo, he has 3 problems. He's a white heterosexual man. See, that's problems right there, and that would prevent him from being able to get released from Russian prison in exchange for their terrorist arms dealer, Victor Bout. Those 3 things right there, they're laughing at it. They recognize that. We recognize that as well. We know what's going on. It's embarrassing, really.
Не прощают. Это катастрофа.
Не, ну Грайнер здесь бьет его по всем параметрам.
И как может американскому избирателю дали выбор? Герой, пострадавший на службе Отечеству. Он же по службе пострадал. герой, увешанный орденами, пострадавший за то, что он работал на свою родину, на США, или чернокожая лесбиянка, наркозависимая, пострадавшая за какой-то вейп с гашишем. Американский избиратель...
очень известная.
Да.
Очень известная. То есть в пиаровском плане...
Американский избиратель выбирает очевидное. И я считаю, что для нас это вторая хорошая новость. Первая хорошая новость, что будут...
They're laughing. This is very embarrassing. Now, I want to clear up what she was talking about right there, at least from my point of view, my opinion. She's saying that the American voters chose this. When I say this, I mean in you chose the black, what she said, the black lesbian hooked on drugs over the decorated war hero, veteran Paul Whelan. That's what she's saying. I'm not saying that's exactly what but we know kind of what it is. You got white straight man versus black LGBT woman, basketball player. I mean, it's an identity thing done for politics, and that's just what it is, right? And as far as the American voters choosing this, well, this is done for PR purposes for voters, because you're going to probably lose more voters on the left, at least, if you get Paul Whelan versus getting Brittney Griner. If you got to pick between the two of them, if you got to pick one or the other, it's a matter of how many votes am I going to get if I choose that person versus this person. It's simple.
Вернулся. А вторая хорошая новость, что нация, которой до такой степени наплевать на своих героев, что она считает значительно более важным вызволить действительно за дело пострадавшую. Пусть она известная, спортсменка, неважно. Но она пострадала не за то, что на родине служила, а за то, что она гашиш свой не могла без него там 10 часов обойтись или сколько, да? Вместо того, чтобы вызволить человека, который 2 года уже сидит, на секундочку, и который родине служил, и за это служить, это о многом говорит. Это много говорит о состоянии этого общества, этих спецслужб и всего того, что имеет отношение к противостоянию геополитическому. Конечно, меня...
I mean, that right there, that was rough to watch. That was rough to watch, rough to read. You know, I can't obviously understand the Russian language, but that was really rough. And let me come back so you can see me clearly. That was rough. That was embarrassing. But here's $1 million question I have for anybody watching. It doesn't matter if you agree with what they did with Brittney Griner, you disagree. If you American, Russian, African, European, it doesn't really matter who you are, what you think. The question I have for you is, do you think that she was wrong? Did she tell a lie about the whole thing of the identity playing a part in it? You got Paul Whelan, a white heterosexual male, decorated veteran, Marine Corps veteran, served his country, was apparently allegedly serving his country when the whole spying allegation happened. You got him in a jail, in the penitentiary, or wherever he is in Russia for at least 2 years, maybe up to 4 years, between 2 and 4 years. You compare that person to a WNBA basketball player, not a veteran, not even a person that really appreciates the country like that, somebody that would kneel for the national anthem. It's like, and it's not just us in America that see it. It's not just people that are politically aware right here in the USA. It's the whole world. It's their leaders that see it. I think Russian authorities, they saw it. They knew what was going on. They knew they could trade Paul Whelan and Brittney Griner for Victor Bout. That's a more even exchange. I would presume. Like, you got an arms dealer with a 25-year sentence in America versus a basketball player locked up for weed. Is that even? No, it's not. Paul Whelan would have made it a little bit more even. But they knew that Americans, or the politicians at least, would leave Paul Whelan if it meant getting Brittney Griner. That's a way to undermine us, to embarrass us, and to also make us look weak in the eyes of the world. As I close, I want to say this. I'm glad Brittney Griner is home. Shout out to her. But, I mean, if you would have asked me, hey, who would you pick? I'm going to say Paul Whelan, because he actually served the country. If you got to pick, it'd be a tough decision either way, because you got to leave somebody. But really, I would get both back. And really, quite frankly, it wouldn't be a prisoner exchange if you had certain administrations in there. I don't recall Trump ever doing anything like this when it came to celebrities that got locked up abroad. ASAP Rocky, was there a prisoner exchange? I don't know about that. LeAngelo Ball got locked up in China. Was there a prisoner exchange for that? I don't remember that. But now when we come to the Biden administration and these weak people like Anthony Blinken and everybody else in the staff. Now you trading high-level prisoners. I mean, what's next? El Chapo? If you get jammed up in Cabo San Lucas with some weed or something like that, but they're going to trade El Chapo for some guy in the G League, some guy playing Major League Baseball, minor league baseball. This is totally ridiculous. It sets a bad precedent. And it's not just me. It's not just us here that can see it. It's the whole world. And you saw that right there in that tape. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what said you? How do you feel about Russian media talking about this whole Paul Whelan, Brittney Griner, Victor Bout thing? Were they correct? Were they incorrect? Is it embarrassing? Not really embarrassing? Kind of indifferent? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I'm at. That was 100% embarrassing, but what she said was not false. She did not lie. She was telling them 100% truth. And if I can see it, you can see it, she can see it, everyone can see it. So how does that make us look as a country? How does that place us? Like when you travel abroad, are you going to feel safe? You might just get jammed up. Not even your fault. You might get something planted on you so they can use you as a political pawn, so they can use you to embarrass. And I'm not even saying that Brittney Griner was a political pawn, but this decision, this precedent that was set, sets others up to potentially be that, because they know we're weak. We'll trade El Chapo. We'll trade some guy known as the Merchant of Death, the Butcher of Kaliningrad. We'll trade them for some random person for optics, for votes, for good favor with regular mouth-breathing normies. It's really a shame. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.